You might think money is just numbers on a spreadsheet. Maybe you've been convinced it's all about grinding harder than everyone else or waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But that's a misunderstanding. Wealth has less to do with effort and timing than with something deeper and far less visible. It is about resonance. It is about the invisible signal your being is constantly transmitting. I call that signal your field. The energy you radiate without even realizing it. You don't get what you run after. You receive what mirrors your inner state. Your field is your silent broadcast. It is the message you send before you say a single word, before you make a move, before you shake a hand or make a deal. It walks into the space before you do and sets the stage for everything that follows. So when your inner world is filled with fear, when your self-concept is fractured, when your thoughts drip with doubt, no amount of hard work can keep you from tripping over your own energy. You will unconsciously create blocks that stop your own progress. This is not superstition. It is the principle of resonance, and you can't escape it. Every thought carries a signal. Every emotion you dwell in becomes a pattern. Every core belief is like a magnet, pulling experiences into your life or forcing them away. You are either a beacon for prosperity or a wall against it, and most people don't even realize which one they are being. This is why so many fail. They wear fake confidence like a costume. They force a smile. They repeat phrases they don't actually believe. They act brave, but underneath, fear hums like static in their nervous system. And reality doesn't respond to the mask. It responds to the true frequency. So here is the question you must answer. What signal are you sending right now? Your field does not lie. It mirrors your inner truth. If your mind is constantly on survival mode, what you're really saying is, I live in scarcity. If you resent people who succeed, your energy says, I believe there isn't enough for me. If you hesitate to charge what you're worth, if you feel guilty for having more, your field announces, I do not see my own value. That message becomes a limit that you keep running into, and no clever tactic will outsmart it until you shift the signal itself. Your energy isn't some airy concept. It is simply the sum of your emotional habits. It is formed by what you focus on day after day, by the way you speak to yourself, by the way you interpret the world. You are programming your field every single moment. Each word, each reaction, each mental rehearsal contributes to it. And that is what money is responding to, whether you like it or not. So if your goal is to bring more abundance into your life, stop trying to convince everyone else that you are worthy. You must convince yourself first. Teach your body that it is safe to hold wealth, that you are allowed to receive more than enough. Otherwise, your subconscious will slam the door shut on every opportunity you consciously chase. Here's the truth. Riches are not born in your wallet. They are conceived in your imagination. Can you stand in the feeling of overflow without any proof yet? Can you embody freedom even before the circumstances change? Most cannot, because they are addicted to external reassurance. They want evidence first and faith second. But those who create lasting wealth do the opposite. They cultivate belief until belief becomes fact. They mentally rehearse success until it feels natural. They construct the vision internally so that reality has no choice but to rearrange around them. That is energy mastery. That is the training of the field. How do you begin? You must rewrite the story of who you are. You must discard the narrative that was placed on you by parents who struggled, by teachers who taught you to play small, by friends who feared risk, by a culture that glorifies exhaustion and calls it virtue. You were not born thinking like a pauper. That was programmed into you. You were taught to fear being wealthy, to link money with greed or guilt or danger. And as long as those associations live in you, they keep wealth at arm's length. Money is not loyal to effort. It is loyal to openness. It flows toward those who are energetically ready for it. If you are heavy with shame, it slips away. If you radiate certainty, it cannot help but find you. This is why it matters to pay attention to what you are broadcasting every moment of every day. Each complaint, each self-pitying thought, each statement of, I can't, reinforces scarcity in your field. But every time you express gratitude, every time you visualize the outcome you desire, every time you dare to say, I am worthy of more, You are rewiring the signal. There is no shortcut. There is only the daily practice of reconditioning yourself. And here's something you cannot miss. Thinking rich is not enough. You must feel rich. Wealth is not merely a sum of currency. It is a state of being and emotional frequency. It feels like peace, like expansion, like certainty. If you cannot feel that way until the money arrives, you will sabotage the money once it does. That is why sudden windfalls ruin so many lives. They never updated their internal frequency, so the money had to leave, because energy must match its container. So practice wealth now. Even when your account is empty, lift your head. Speak with confidence. Behave as someone who trusts their own value. That is how you strengthen your field. That is how you become magnetic. You must also be ruthless about what and who you allow near your energy. You cannot become a magnet for prosperity while surrounding yourself with constant complainers. You cannot rise while feeding your mind with scarcity-driven noise. You cannot expect to think like a creator while scrolling through content that trains you to feel powerless. What you consume becomes what you radiate. Protect your mind like a treasure. Read what uplifts you. Listen to voices that expand your vision. Choose relationships that challenge you to grow rather than pull you back into fear. And let me be blunt. Sometimes the biggest block to your next level is the old version of yourself that you refuse to bury. The you who stays small, who hesitates, who values approval more than freedom. That version has a weak frequency. That version attracts situations that confirm its own limitations. You cannot take that self with you. You must shed it, not someday, but today. The moment you stop apologizing for wanting more, the moment you stop hiding your power to make others comfortable, the moment you refuse to feed lack-based thoughts, everything changes. You enter a room and people feel the shift. Your presence commands respect before you even speak. Doors start to open as if by magic. This is not magic, it is alignment. Your energy is not a fixed trait, it is fluid. You sculpt it with every thought, every choice, every word. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are training your field every day. So do it with intention. Speak life into your reality. Repeat, not to convince the world, but to convince your own subconscious, I am abundance in motion. I am in harmony with overflow. I do not run after what I want, I call it in. I drop guilt, I welcome expansion, I expect miracles. And as you do this day after day, you will notice something powerful. You no longer need to prove anything. You don't need to announce your worth. You don't need to argue for your success. Your energy begins to do the talking. It becomes undeniable. And here is the wake-up call. If wealth was purely about hard work, the most exhausted people would be the richest. They are not. This should tell you something. It is not effort alone that makes someone prosperous. It is alignment. You can grind yourself into dust, chase every strategy, build business after business, work overtime every week. But if your core frequency is one of unworthiness, you will watch things slip through your fingers. You will find yourself in the wrong deals, with the wrong partners, making the wrong moves. You will attract delays, confusion, betrayals, because your energy is giving off mixed signals. And when you say, but I'm thinking positive, I ask, are you feeling it? Because most people recite abundance while vibrating worry. They speak affirmation with their mouths and whisper fear in their nervous system. They celebrate in the morning and panic by evening. And the field listens only to the deeper signal. So your work is not just to think better, it is to become better energetically. When you do, money, opportunities, relationships, and circumstances will start to reorganize themselves around you. Not because you forced them, but because you finally became the person who naturally receives them. They sit quietly for 10 minutes, trying to center themselves, but then spend the rest of the day vibrating with anxiety, envy, regret, and a sense of not having enough. That is not harmony with life. That is internal chaos. The universe does not respond to chaos, it responds to coherence. So let's bring some order to this picture. Your energetic field, your aura, is not about your best moments, not about how you perform on a lucky day, but about the emotional atmosphere you carry on average. It is your default setting. If your goal is to use this field to draw prosperity and good fortune, you must lift that default setting to a higher emotional tone. not once in a while, not only when you're inspired, but as a way of life. And how is that done? It is done by cleaning up your inner world every single day, by practicing emotional discipline, by reprogramming the beliefs and patterns that have been running your mind so that they are built on reality and possibility rather than fear and past pain. This means you do not only remove the bad thoughts, you dissolve the identity that thrives on them. You must release the version of yourself that insists on always being the struggler, the one that wears hardship like a badge of authenticity. You must let go of the part of you that secretly feels being successful is a betrayal of where you came from. That is the blockage keeping your frequency distorted. So pause and ask yourself right now, who am I when there is no one there to witness me? What emotional climate do I return to when I am alone? What atmosphere do I bring into a space before I even say a word? If the answer is anything less than confidence, trust, and quiet strength, that is the area where your devotion is needed most. Here is a simple but crucial truth that many overlook. You are not given what you merely wish for. You are given what you are convinced of. Desire without belief is weak. Conviction is magnetic. Someone who just hopes to succeed is still living in the energy of not having it. Someone who knows in their bones that their success is inevitable begins to carry themselves as if it has already happened. Their field transmits certainty, and other people feel it before they even realize why. They will say that something about you feels different, that they cannot put their finger on it. But they feel drawn to you. They feel they can trust you. And the reason is simple. You built that frequency within yourself before anyone on the outside confirmed it. You became the version of yourself who commands respect before a single result appeared. And that is the secret that changes everything. That is the hidden leverage most never tap into. Now let's put this into a principle you can actually use, because inspiration without practice just becomes frustration over time. Here is the principle: your surroundings amplify your inner state. Whatever vibration you carry inside will be multiplied by what is around you. If you carry insecurity and you spend your days with people who complain, gossip, and criticize, your insecurity will grow louder. But if you begin to tune your energy to courage and faith, and you surround yourself with voices that build you up, with people who walk boldly, who speak with certainty, who embody conviction, then your own signal will strengthen exponentially. So train your field by being intentional about what and who you allow near you. Shift the objects in your space. Shift the voices in your daily life. Shift the information you take in. If you constantly consume fear, you will radiate fear. If you immerse yourself in images and stories of triumph, you will begin to radiate that triumph. Make your room a temple of vision. Put books, art, and reminders in it that pull you toward your future rather than chaining you to your old wounds. Be mindful of what you allow into your ears. Protect the first hour of your day from nonsense and distraction. Take back your nights from drama and emotional chaos. Every second is shaping your energy field, and your energy field is shaping your results. You are broadcasting all the time, whether you mean to or not. The question is whether you are broadcasting intentionally. There is a reason certain individuals appear to draw opportunities and wealth toward them almost effortlessly. It is not random chance, not just privilege, not coincidence. It is because their inner state is aligned with what they seek. They speak from conviction. They behave as though the reality they want is already here. They walk with a level of congruence that creates gravitational pull. People feel that clarity and want to be part of it. They want to collaborate. They want to follow. They want to invest, not because of a clever argument, but because of how that person's presence made them feel. This is the intelligence of energy at work. People are not investing in your plans. They are investing in the feeling your presence gives them. They are not buying your reasoning. They are buying the energy behind your words. So stop obsessing over perfecting your scripts and strategies. Perfect your state of being. Stop trying to mimic someone else's external plan. Instead, embody their level of commitment to their own energy, because that is the real secret formula that no one talks about. Let us go deeper. The way your energy feels to others mirrors the way you relate to yourself. If you are constantly at war inside your own head, you will unconsciously create battles in the outer world. If you secretly resent your own ambition, you will find ways to trip yourself up whenever you make progress. If you are unsure about your worth, life will reflect that uncertainty right back at you. So the real work begins inside. Give yourself permission to want what you want. Teach your system that it is safe to grow. Tell yourself that being powerful is not a crime. Convince your body that thriving is natural, not exceptional. Until you embody the feeling that wealth is meant for you, you will unconsciously push it away. You can post all day, work all day, sell and network endlessly, but if the feeling underneath all of that is, I am not enough to hold this, your results will reflect your fear instead of your effort. Life does not pay you for frantic action. It pays you for aligned action, for action that carries truth behind it. Here is a simple practice that has transformed many lives. Every morning, before you let the outside world crash into your mind, before you scroll your phone, before the stress of the day kicks in, sit quietly. Just 5 minutes is enough. Close your eyes, take a few long breaths, and picture your energy field expanding outward, glowing brighter, surrounding you with strength. Speak to this field as if it listens, because it does. Declare that you attract prosperity. Declare that your presence radiates abundance. Declare that money and success are safe in your hands and that growth flows to you with ease. Feel this as if it is already happening. Practice this feeling until your nervous system accepts it as normal. Do this every single day for at least 3 weeks and watch as coincidences line up in your favor, as people respond to you with a new level of excitement, as opportunities seem to find you on their own. Your field will stop rejecting abundance and will start inviting it. And that is the moment where everything changes. Understand this: the money you want is not the real prize. It is just a side effect. The true reward is the version of yourself you must become in order to live in harmony with prosperity. The mental clarity, the steadiness of emotion, the trust in your own path, that is the treasure no one can ever take from you. Money is just a messenger. It travels toward the clearest, most stable signal. It thrives where it feels safe. It loves decisiveness. And once you become the type of person whose entire being feels like a safe home for success, your presence becomes a silent invitation. Every space you enter will feel it. You will not need to convince anyone of your worth. You will not need to plead or prove yourself. You will not have to chase, because your energy has already done the work for you. Most people never learn this in their lifetime. You do not magnetize what you run after. You magnetize what you are ready to hold. Readiness is not in your mind, it is in your energy. It is emotional, spiritual, embodied. You do not force life to give you what you want by working yourself to the bone or by talking endlessly about your goals. You receive what you are ready to receive when your inner state matches it. Money is energy, influence is energy, partnerships, opportunities, resources, all of it is energy. The only way to have them come to you is to vibrate at their level, which is why I say to train your aura like an athlete trains his muscles, deliberately, consistently, and with respect for the process. You are not guaranteed wealth just because you wish for it, but you are destined for it when you learn to embody it before it arrives. So reflect on this. When you walk into a gathering, what does your presence communicate before you speak? Does it whisper generosity and trust, or does it scream fear and lack? Does your posture express quiet confidence or hidden pleading? Prosperity is allergic to desperation. Desperation broadcasts fear, and fear scrambles your signal. It sends out the message, I am not enough, I cannot hold this, I am afraid it will disappear, and life echoes that message right back to you. But when you carry the opposite, when you breathe out certainty, when your entire being says, I am whole and I welcome more, that is when the doors open. That is when the floodgates turn in your favor. That's the moment when life stops putting obstacles in your way and begins bringing you what you've been asking for. And maybe you're wondering right now, how do I sharpen my energy so that it feels that clear, that magnetic? There is a process for this, and I'll share it with you. I call it emotional tuning, a simple but life-changing practice. It's built on 3 daily disciplines. The first is an emotional check-in. At the start of every day, pause and ask yourself, what is the dominant feeling I'm carrying? And does that state serve the person I'm in the process of becoming? If the answer is no, don't let that feeling run your day. Shift it, redirect it, reshape it until it aligns with where you want to go. Your mind is the DJ, switch the track. The second ritual is spoken alignment. This isn't about sounding impressive, it's about programming your system. Tell your body, your cells, how it feels when you're already thriving. Speak sentences that carry weight. I am secure. I am trustworthy. I am responsible with the wealth flowing to me. I am here to make an impact. Let your nervous system marinate in those words. The third ritual is immersion in the future self. Shut your eyes and don't just watch your dream life like a movie. Step into it. Look through your future self's eyes. Stand with his stance. Move with her confidence. Smile with their calm certainty. Repeat this until it stops feeling like imagination and starts feeling like memory. These 3 practices done faithfully will begin to clear your energetic field. Like cleaning a dusty mirror, they remove the haze and let your true signal shine. But let me warn you, this process can be uncomfortable. When you start vibrating at a higher level, anything that belongs to the old you will fight to stay alive. Some friends will fade away. Habits will feel hollow. Places will no longer feel right. Don't panic when this happens. It is not punishment. It is confirmation that you are growing beyond where you used to be. Don't grab onto what's collapsing. Let it go. Let the previous version of you dissolve, because the version of you that is rising cannot live in the skin of who you once were. Every seed must crack open before it can become a tree. Every identity must break apart before it can stretch into its expansion. You weren't placed here to play nice. You're here to live in alignment. Let people misinterpret you. Let them gossip. Let them whisper that you've changed. Because they're right, you have. You finally stopped living like the character they once knew and started living as the person you actually are. That moment of courage, that decision to honor your truth, is what amplifies your aura more than any trick, hack, or method. You want to know the real reason the world's most magnetic leaders became impossible to ignore. They weren't born fearless. They weren't born bold, but they made a choice, a firm, unwavering choice to stop living beneath what they were capable of. They spoke success before they had proof. They delivered value before they were asked. They carried themselves with faith even when surrounded by chaos because their belief was louder than their fear. And you must follow the same path. When your finances scream no, your spirit has to whisper yes. When the world stops clapping, you have to applaud yourself. When everything feels delayed, you have to stay steady and hold the energy. This is the game. This is how you become unshackable. This is how your aura becomes your unfair advantage. And there's a common myth that has stolen millions of dreams, the myth that confidence comes after proof. That is false. Confidence is not earned from evidence, it is chosen. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never start. If you wait for others to say yes, you'll stay silent forever. If you wait to be picked, you'll never step into the game. So you must choose now. I am enough. I am ready. I am the one. Not in some distant future, not when everything looks perfect, not when someone gives you permission. Now, that bold choice, that internal declaration, is the seed from which all magnetic energy grows. From that moment forward, life begins to match you. Your presence becomes different. Your words land heavier. You no longer beg, you signal. And the world pays attention not because of what you own, but because of what you are. Let me give you another tool before we close this teaching, one of the most powerful. I call it emotional rehearsal. Before you step into a big conversation, a key meeting, a performance, or any moment that matters, go still. Breathe deeply. Imagine the event has already gone better than you dared to hope. Feel the moment after it ended, the victory, the applause, the relief. And then focus on this part. Feel who you were in that victorious version of yourself. What did your body feel like? How did you carry yourself? What was the energy you radiated? Then bring that state into the real moment. This is not just daydreaming. It is training your frequency to match the outcome you want. When your nervous system believes the win already happened, fear loses its grip, resistance melts, self-sabotage has no fuel. You are no longer trying to make it work. You are simply stepping into what's already done. And that is the most potent energy in existence. So here's your 30-day challenge. Audit your feelings every morning. Speak your alignment every day. Step into your future self every chance you get. Rehearse every important event emotionally before it arrives. And above all, act as the person you are becoming. Let people try to figure you out. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You won't have to explain yourself because your presence will speak louder than your words. You'll walk into rooms with invisible weight. You'll feel reality shift to meet you. You'll watch coincidences multiply, opportunities arrive faster, and success show up not because of luck, but because you are aligned with what you asked for. You are not a beggar. You're not here to plead your case. You are a living magnet, a match for miracles, a carrier of power. Train your field until it knows that truth deeper than your doubt. And once it does, you won't chase. You'll draw in. You'll command. You'll become. Listen carefully now, because this is where it all fuses together. You've been training your thoughts. You've been changing the story you tell yourself. You've been rehearsing your victory and speaking as though the finish line is already behind you. But none of it counts unless you live it out. Wealth isn't pulled in by words alone. It comes when you are walking proof of belief, when you've shaped yourself into a force so compelling that what you want no longer has any reason to stay away. Most people still miss this. They keep asking, how do I make more money? I ask them, what does your energy look like to money? Does it feel safe around you? They ask, where do I find better opportunities? And I ask, have you elevated your frequency to match the level of those opportunities? The universe is precise. It does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to who you are right now. This is why it's not about grinding harder. It's about becoming more tuned, more coherent, more aligned. Your aura is like a silent announcement broadcasting everywhere you go. It is either saying I am ready or I am desperate. It is either saying I stand for something or I blend into everything. And you cannot attract high-quality outcomes while carrying a low-quality self-image. So let's get serious about identity. Not the name written on your ID card, but the essence you choose to wear every single day until the world has no choice but to agree with you. You have to become the person whose presence shifts the atmosphere, not by force, not by begging, but by embodying conviction. When your aura declares, I am the solution, people naturally bring you their questions. When your energy says, I've prepared, doors open without knocking. This is not arrogance, this is remembering. This is taking ownership of the truth that has always lived inside you. There is no more space for self-doubt when you are building the life you were born for. If your future self could see you now, would they nod in approval or shake their head? That spark is still alive inside you, but fire without aim just burns. Fire with direction creates cities, builds empires. Channel it. Here are the 4 forces that create an aura people cannot ignore. First, certainty. No matter what chaos surrounds you, move with intention, speak with weight. People trust the ones who trust themselves. Second, stillness. A stormy energy cannot radiate wealth. Practice calm. Don't panic, respond. Don't chase, attract. Third, alignment. What you think, what you say, what you do must line up. You cannot shout affirmations of abundance and live in scarcity habits. You cannot picture success and hide from discipline. Alignment is not a suggestion, it is the requirement. Fourth, contribution. If you want to be richly rewarded, become someone who gives more than they take. Solve real problems. Add real value. Serve without keeping score. This is what earns the right to receive. Those 4 traits, certainty, stillness, alignment, contribution, are the invisible skeleton holding up every truly magnetic person you've ever admired. They aren't lucky, they are tuned. And you can tune yourself the same way. But hear me on this, your energy does not grow stronger when life is easy. It grows stronger when you act despite the difficulty. When you say yes even while your voice shakes. When you step forward even while learning as you go. When you keep giving when you feel depleted. when you keep building even when no one is clapping, that's when life starts rearranging itself in your favor. The invisible forces take note, and when you pass those invisible tests, the rewards show up in the visible world. Don't stop 5 minutes before your breakthrough. Don't shrink to make other people comfortable. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to blaze like a torch. And when you do, people will say, "There's something different about you. I trust you. I feel pulled toward you." That's your energy doing the work. That's the signal you've been training finally becoming undeniable. You'll stop running after things because you'll have become the kind of person opportunities run toward. Think about everything you've absorbed here. You now know that wealth starts as frequency before it becomes form. You now understand that aura is not a mystical accident. It is a muscle built through daily practice and inner discipline. You've learned that desperation repels what you want, but calm attracts it faster. You've been given tools: emotional check-ins, spoken alignment, visualization, energetic rehearsal, and shown the 4 pillars of a powerful field: certainty, stillness, alignment, contribution. And most importantly, you've learned that faith must come first before there is any proof. This isn't just a motivational talk. This is the blueprint of how to train your energy until life can't help but respond. So as you leave this moment, do not slip back into small habits, into old conversations, into shrinking yourself. Stop asking for validation. Stop settling for crumbs. You were built to prepare the feast. Let rooms fill you before you speak. Let every action reflect your chosen identity. Let every word come from belief, not fear. And when fear screams, answer with movement. When doubt whispers, answer with faith. When they laugh, keep growing. Because this is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering the person you were before the world convinced you to dim your light. You were born magnetic. You were born abundant. You were born chosen. Now live as if you finally know it. The wealth you've been seeking is not far away. It is orbiting you right now, waiting for your signal. So set it, train your energy, and let the world find you.